My name is Stephen Feuerstein, Oracle Developer Advocate for PL/SQL, here with a quick tip on using compile time warnings with the NOCOPY feature. Sure, you could use the PL/SQL compiler simply and importantly to compile your code and make sure it doesn't have errors and allow you to start your testing. But you can also ask the PL/SQL compiler to help you improve the quality of your code by enabling built-in compile time warnings. So in my first statement in the script, I'm going to enable all the warnings. As you'll see in a moment, we can be much more selective. Then I'm going to compile a package. Now this package has a procedure that has an in parameter, an out parameter, in out parameter, and in out with no copy. I compile my package, and what do I see? I see a number of warnings. It tells me that, first of all, the NOCOPY test omitted the optional auth ID clause. In other words, I didn't specify whether I wanted definer rights or invoker rights. Because I enabled all warnings, it showed me that warning as well as the one relevant to this lesson. PLW, PL/SQL warning 7203, parameter just out, may benefit from use of the NOCOPY compiler hint. And the same thing for the in and out. So it automatically flagged these two references as potentially benefiting from NOCOPY. It ignored in because in is passed by reference already and all the time, and it ignored the in out with NOCOPY because obviously I'm already using NOCOPY. So there you have it, an example of compile time warnings letting you know of an opportunity to improve your code. Now going back to the compiler log, if you don't want to be bothered by what some might consider to be nuisance warnings like, hey, you omitted the auth ID clause, but you always use auth ID definer, you've never used invoker rights in your entire career, well, then we can be more selective. So now what I'm going to do is set PL/SQL warnings enabling only 7203. I'm going to compile my package again. And notice now I only see the warnings for my PLW 7203. I can even go further and say, you know what? This warning is super critical to me. I always want to use NOCOPY. If it doesn't have NOCOPY, that should be an error. So I set my PL/SQL warnings specifying that 7203 should be an error. And by the way, you can have multiple specifications in your PL/SQL warnings simply by adding additional clauses and so on. So I set it to be an error, not a warning. I compile my code again. And now notice in the compiler log that I'm no longer getting a PLW 7203. I'm getting a PLS 7203, and that means a PL/SQL compile error. This package cannot be used until I add the NOCOPY hint in all the places that it's recommended. Now when I compile my code, I get a clean compile. Nice. So remember to use PL/SQL warnings to help you both improve the quality of your code and even insist on some quality assurance measures in your code. So some takeaways regarding NOCOPY and compile time warnings. You can definitely get some significant improvements in performance of your subprograms if you pass large parameters as in, out, or out by applying the NOCOPY parameter hint. You can use compile time warnings to automatically identify locations in your code that could benefit. Now, sure, you could do a text search for out or the words in space out, but that doesn't necessarily give you what you need, which is the parameter definition of those parameters as out or in out. Compile time warnings will do that for you in a very targeted fashion. Resources for NOCOPY. Check out my background on passing by reference and value, using NOCOPY to improve performance, and a side effect of NOCOPY that can end up in partially modified data when your program terminates with an unhandled exception. If you'd like to reproduce exactly what I showed you in this video, check out the NOCOPY warning script that's available in my demo zip file downloadable from the PL/SQL Learning Library at oracle.com/oll/PL/SQL. Thanks for joining me, and happy PL/SQL coding!